it is a proof for me personally, and with that a reinforcement of my belief that we can build horizontal organizations and that we can live that, and that it does not matter if we speak about it, but it matters a lot if we live it, because this is a proof for I think everyone's self to really experience it. And I don't want to say with that it's not important to share the knowledge.
Yeah.
It is super important, but to combine it with the experience, I think is absolutely essential.
And with practice.
Yes.
It's not even enough just to practice it in these 4 days, and that's why we have these practice planners and accountability buddies and all of that, because it's a muscle. And it's so easy to fall back into vertical, hierarchical methods, because that's what we've grown up in. That's the water.
Yes, this is what we learn. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Where in your life do you feel you're wanting to bring going like horizontal practices?
So my background is in the world of mistrust. So I have a networking engineering background, and I was working in IT security. Right, so everything is you see the attacks everywhere, right? and it's true, there is a world out there which is not nice, and where people really exploit other people, and we see that. But what I was encountering is that when we want to change something, we really need to bring the change into the organizations we're working in. And I'm very grateful on the one side that I have the chance to shift the environment I'm working in as a founder for an organization, as well as working with organizations which are coming from the blockchain space, which expressed the wish to change their culture to be community, government community owned. So I think there is a lot of opportunities to bring that learnings into those organizations, which are now emerging from nowhere in the last years through the new opportunities of crowdfunding of ERC, 20 base ICOs.
There's something also about these organizations being a lot of the time led by younger people.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really exciting to me, because it's like if you're dealing with management who went through training or business school like 30 years ago,
yes,
it's going to be a lot harder to make that culture change. But if you're working with people like yourself, then it's like, I feel like there's a real opportunity.
Yes, there is a danger as well. The danger that we are not reaching them in time. Because we have the situation right now, the blockchain field emerges, we see hundreds of companies joining that field, a lot of young entrepreneurs. But if you're without orientation, you focus on what you know works.
Yeah.
Right. So it's super important that we bring that that teachings, what alternatives you have to vertical-led organization in time. Yeah. And I think this is something where we really need to focus on reaching the community in the next, I would say, 12 to 18 months. So that this is something which is really present, and I believe it's possible because the community at the moment in the blockchain space, we're the strongest open community Ethereum right now, with over 1 million active members in the meetups worldwide. Wow. We see that this is a focus point where there's a network of influencers which really wish the best for the outcome of the project, and if they become practitioners of horizontal practices, I think this is very, very possible. So that's exciting. It's very exciting.
Yeah, and it's almost like horizontal practices could be like the human part of going decentralized.
Yes, absolutely.
We hear so much about the future is decentralized, but we don't know what that means on the human level. But on the technology level, it's much clearer to people right now. It's like, that all makes sense, but how do we actually organize us in the physical human realm?
And I've seen that as well. So I would say everything what comes down to blockchain governance translates back into what are the organizational structures we will facilitate to make changes in the protocols, govern the infrastructure, and govern applications built on top of those blockchains. And there is a person, Vlad Zamfir, who is part of the Ethereum community, who is one of the spearheading the debate on governance. He pointed very clearly out that fully autonomous blockchains will be very likely to be abused and weaponized from minorities which are willing to use that autonomy for creating advantages for themselves. So like applications which are abused for human trafficking or for assassination markets or similar negative implications, and then imagine they can't be censored from any government, they can't be stopped, right? So what are we opening up there? And the alternative to a fully autonomous blockchain is a blockchain which is governed from a community. Some people would say in a democratic manner. I would say it's more than that. I think collectively governed platforms, or say ecosystems.
Yeah.
And I think
ecosystems of people who often haven't met before. So that's
absolutely
really interesting to me, because how do we bring these horizontal human social technologies when it's like people connecting only in the virtual realm?
This is an interesting thing, and I believe that the way how this is possible is by acknowledging an old principle of say the people which want to try to make a change in the world, which is acting local, thinking global.
Yeah, local.
Yes, exactly.
Nice.
So the blockchain as a nerve backbone for digital society, for thinking global. But the local practice, and off-chain governance processes which are able to facilitate collective intelligence are those practices we are speaking about. So I think if this comes together, there's a lot of like possibility for us to see something which is currently for many people only a vision.
Or a utopia.
Yeah, but to show that it's possible, and this is something to close the circle.
Yeah.
Which I have experienced here.
Yeah.
And
we were just talking about it out in the kitchen, like this is the time. Like this is a time where we need global cooperation, and this is a time that there is urgency. And if we can bring together both the technology and the human parts of this to facilitate collective wisdom, then we could actually have an impact.
Yes. There is this time slot of the next, say, 100 years. Probably it's less. Probably less.
Yeah, I see it as the next 30 years is really going to make a difference.
I have the feeling that this is true. If there is not the seed of a new way how we treat each other and treat the planet, this will probably end very badly.
It'll just end.
I mean, everything continues, right? But probably not without us, and
Yeah.
probably not with our families, or so that known is we have a great opportunity. We have the great opportunity to become a society who flies to the stars, and to say outlives that immaturity, and moves on to the next consciousness level and a new way of organizational behavior and governance structures.
Technology assisted, community facilitated, horizontally managed.
Yes, exactly. And I think a very strong message to everybody who has the feeling that he wants to do something. Is you can learn to organize horizontal and move into organizations where you are part of a project which is actively participating in facilitating that change. In building a substitute for an existing organizational structure which produces better products in that direction, or can help to facilitate better community ownership and governance. So we can live it, and that's something I find very, very empowering and look forward for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, guys.
Nice.
I got a bit of goosebumps.